Get along very well, and there's not a lot of disagreement because ultimately Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do.
All right.
It's about my life, and it's about how did I raise my fabulous 3 kids, and it came about that people were stopping me on the streets.
All right, how about we get to this? The drama that played out on the small screen and tabloids everywhere. The 1990 divorce between Donald J. Trump and Ivana Trump.
Not tough, I was strong. I had to be, because you cannot be a pussycat running, the casino with 4,500 employees.
For decades, the high-profile divorce of Ivana and Donald Trump remained one of the most talked-about splits in modern celebrity history. While their marriage defined the glitz and excess of the 1980s, its unraveling was just as dramatic, complete with tabloid scandals, betrayal, and legal battles. Now, after 35 years, Ivana Trump has finally confirmed why she divorced Donald Trump. From a public showdown in Aspen to a bitter legal fight and an FBI investigation, the truth behind their divorce is even more compelling than the headlines ever suggested. This is one story you can't miss. Hang tight. The pursuit of freedom. Ivana Trump's trajectory, from a young athlete in Czechoslovakia to an influential figure in New York's elite, was shaped not only by her own intelligence and adaptability, but also by the political and social landscape of the Cold War era. Her early decision to marry Alfred Winkelmeyer to obtain an Austrian passport was a calculated move to escape communist Czechoslovakia without severing ties to her family. Even before she met Donald Trump, she was accustomed to making choices that prioritized long-term gain over immediate convenience. Her arrival in Canada in the early 1970s placed her in a new environment where she had to carve out a space for herself. Montreal, with its European influence and bilingual culture, offered her a soft landing, allowing her to refine her English while immersing herself in a more open society. Her relationship with Yuri Siravatka, another Czech defector, placed her in an entrepreneurial circle even before she stepped into the high-powered world of New York real estate. Her modeling career, which she insisted was just a means to an end, was less about glamour and more about using opportunities to build a presence in North America. By the time she was working on promotional campaigns for the 1976 Montreal Olympics, she had already laid the groundwork for a transition to something bigger. Meeting Donald Trump in 1976 was a turning point. But Ivana was never just a trophy wife. Marriage with Donald Trump. Ivana Trump was no ordinary immigrant chasing the American dream. She was a force of nature. Before she ever set foot in New York, she had already built a name for herself in Canada, balancing a successful modeling career with a sharp business acumen that set her apart from the typical socialites of the era. Ambitious, intelligent, and relentless, she arrived in the United States determined to make her mark. When she met Donald Trump in 1976, it was not just a whirlwind romance. It was a collision of two titanic personalities, each with an insatiable hunger for success. Donald, then an ambitious young real estate developer, was determined to break free from his father Fred Trump's shadow and claim his own kingdom in Manhattan. Ivana, with her European sophistication and unshakable drive, saw in him a partner whose ambitions matched her own. Their union in 1977, officiated by Norman Vincent Peale, whose book The Power of Positive Thinking was practically a Bible to Donald, was also the birth of a brand, a power couple poised to dominate New York's elite circles. But from the beginning, Ivana was Donald's equal in ambition, and in many ways his superior in execution. With a mind for strategy and a meticulous eye for design, she became an indispensable part of the Trump empire. Unlike many society wives who were content with charity galas and luxury shopping sprees, Ivana was in the trenches, playing a key managerial role in some of the Trump Organization's biggest projects. She helped shape the vision of Trump Tower, overseeing everything from interior aesthetics to branding, ensuring that the building became synonymous with luxury. She was instrumental in the development of the Grand Hyatt, an early cornerstone of Donald's growing empire, and later took on a crucial role in managing the Trump Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City. Ivana's involvement extended far beyond the boardroom. She became the face of Trump's rise, her European poise and unwavering work ethic lending an air of sophistication to their growing empire. When Donald acquired the Plaza Hotel, one of the most prestigious properties in New York, it was Ivana he entrusted to run it, not as a mere figurehead, but as its president. She threw herself into the role with the same vigor she applied to everything in her life, becoming the first woman to hold such position at the historic hotel. Under her leadership, the plaza was reinvigorated, restoring its reputation as one of Manhattan's crown jewels. Yet, for all her successes, cracks were beginning to form beneath the surface of the Trump marriage. Donald had initially admired Ivana's tenacity. After all, he had married her for her brilliance as much as her beauty, but admiration soon gave way to resentment. He thrived on dominance, both in business and in his personal life. As Ivana became a recognized force in her own right, independent of his shadow, tensions began to rise. She had cultivated a public identity beyond just being Mrs. Trump, and Donald, who had always demanded absolute control over his image and legacy, began to see her as competition rather than a partner. Their marriage, once built on a shared vision of success, gradually turned into a battle for supremacy. By the late 1980s, their once unshakable empire was beginning to show signs of strain, both financially and personally. The stock market crash of 1987 rattled Donald's heavily leveraged business empire, and whispers of mismanagement and debt began to circulate in financial circles. At the same time, Ivana's growing influence in the Trump organization further complicated their marriage, as Donald increasingly sought to reclaim his position as the undisputed head of both their business and their household. Then came Aspen. It was the winter of 1989, and the Trump family had retreated to the snowy luxury of Aspen, Colorado, for what should have been a peaceful Christmas vacation. Instead, it became the setting for one of the most infamous social scandals of the decade. For months, rumors had swirled about Donald's alleged infidelities, but Ivana had largely brushed them aside, until now. In Aspen, she came face to face with Marla Maples, the young Southern beauty queen who had become Donald's mistress. Witnesses later recounted a tense, emotionally charged scene in which Ivana, normally poised and composed, unleashed her fury upon her husband's lover. Marla, cornered and humiliated, declared to Ivana, "I love him and he loves me." It was a moment that shattered any illusion of reconciliation between Ivana and Donald. Ivana, humiliated and betrayed, could no longer ignore the reality of her marriage's collapse. Messy divorce. Ivana and Donald Trump's divorce was more than just a high-profile breakup. It was a cultural moment that defined an era of tabloid journalism excess and the unraveling of one of the most glamorous power couples in America. For 11 consecutive days, the New York press devoured every detail, turning their split into a public spectacle that fascinated millions. The breakup of a marriage that had once symbolized wealth, ambition, and success was now being dissected in headlines, from accusations of infidelity to the legal battles over vast sums of money. Ivana's allegations against Donald, including a claim that he had assaulted her during a heated argument, an accusation she later recanted, only fueled the fire, giving the tabloids endless material to exploit. By December 1990, the marriage was officially over, with the court granting Ivana a divorce on the grounds of cruel and inhumane treatment. While the specifics of what had transpired behind the gilded doors of their penthouses and five-star hotels remained obscured by legal agreements, the divorce proceedings had already exposed much of the drama to the public. Ivana, who had played a significant role in shaping the Trump organization and helping build its brand, was determined to secure her rightful share of the fortune she had helped amass. Her settlement was substantial: $14 million in cash, a sprawling 45-room mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, an apartment in Trump Plaza, and a financial agreement that granted her limited access to Mar-a-Lago. However, her ability to speak freely about her marriage was significantly restricted. A tightly enforced non-disclosure agreement ensured that Ivana could never discuss certain aspects of their life together without Donald's approval. As Ivana navigated her post-divorce reality, Donald was grappling with the greatest financial crisis of his career. Once celebrated as a golden boy of New York real estate, he was now burdened with crushing debt. The Trump empire, built on an intricate web of high-risk investments, was on the brink of collapse. His Atlantic City casinos were hemorrhaging money. His Taj Mahal casino was struggling to meet loan payments, and his highly leveraged properties, including the Plaza Hotel, were at risk of foreclosure. Banks that had once lined up to fund his grandiose projects were now skeptical of his ability to stay afloat. His financial downfall was as public as his divorce, with creditors circling and reports surfacing that he was no longer the billionaire he claimed to be. The Trump name was suddenly in question, but Ivana and Donald, despite their personal war, were both fighters, unwilling to let scandal or financial ruin define them. Ivana wasted no time reinventing herself, capitalizing on her fame and her reputation as a savvy businesswoman. She launched a series of ventures under her own name, including a fashion and beauty brand that targeted women who admire her glamorous lifestyle. She penned books, including The Best Is Yet to Come, Coping with Divorce and Enjoying Life Again, which became a bestseller. Donald, too, refused to be buried by his failures. Through sheer force of personality and an unparalleled ability to sell an image, he gradually clawed his way back from the brink. He negotiated with banks to restructure his debts, leverage his name for licensing deals, and most crucially, discovered the power of television. The Apprentice turned him into a reality TV sensation, rebranding him from a struggling businessman to the ultimate symbol of success. His signature line, "You're fired," became embedded in popular culture. This rebranding effort would eventually propel him into politics, culminating in one of the most unexpected presidential victories in American history. Their marriage had ended in scandal, but its legacy endured for decades. Their 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, would grow up navigating the public eye, each carving out their own paths in business and media under the ever-present shadow of their father's ambitions. Ivana, despite their bitter split, remained fiercely proud of the role she had played in shaping her children and even, in some ways, Donald himself. In later years, she spoke of him with a mix of admiration and exasperation, acknowledging his success while also making it clear that she had moved on. Though it is old news now, the divorce was a defining moment in American pop culture, a symbol of the excess ambition and cutthroat nature of the 1980s. But it was not the end. For neither one of the Trump couple, career success and making it to the top. Ivana Trump played a significant role in the Trump Organization during her marriage to Donald Trump, holding key executive positions and overseeing major projects. For 7 years, she served as a senior executive, most notably as executive vice president for interior design, a role that allowed her to leave a lasting mark on Trump Tower with its signature pink marble aesthetic. Her business acumen led to her appointment as CEO and president of the Trump Castle Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, where she managed operations with a firm hand. She later took charge of the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan, becoming the only woman at the time to serve as president of a major New York hotel. Following her highly publicized divorce, Ivana wasted no time in building her own brand, launching a series of business ventures that capitalized on her name and public persona. She introduced lines of clothing, jewelry, and beauty products, selling them through television shopping networks, such as the Home Shopping Network and QVC London. By 1995, she had established the House of Ivana, a fashion and fragrance company with a prestigious showroom on Park Avenue in New York City. Her entrepreneurial efforts extended beyond fashion. In 1998, she explored business opportunities in Croatia, a country she had frequently visited with her parents. She made a notable investment by purchasing a 33% stake in Polo Plus 10, the second largest daily newspaper in the nation. Despite her business successes, not all of Ivana's ventures flourished. In 2004, the Bentley Bay development in Miami, which bore her name, filed for bankruptcy. A year later, she became involved in several condominium projects, including the ambitious but ultimately unrealized Ivana Las Vegas, a proposed luxury residential tower. Legal battles also followed her entrepreneurial endeavors. In 2010, she sued Finnish fashion company Ivana Helsinki for using her name without authorization. Beyond business, Ivana made a name for herself in the literary world, authoring several books spanning fiction, self-help, and memoirs. Her first novel, For Love Alone, was published in 1992, followed by Free to Love in 1993. In 1995, she wrote The Best Is Yet to Come, Coping with Divorce and Enjoying Life Again, offering guidance to women navigating post-divorce life. Her writing career extended into journalism as well. From 1995 to 2010, she wrote Ask Ivana, an advice column for Globe, where she provided insights on love, relationships, and lifestyle. In February 1999, she launched her own lifestyle magazine, Ivana's Living in Style. She also contributed to Divorce magazine in 2001, sharing her personal experiences and advice on moving forward after separation. In 2017, Ivana released her autobiography, Raising Trump, in which she reflected on her childhood in Czechoslovakia and her experiences raising her 3 children. The book provided an intimate look at her life as a mother, revealing her parenting philosophies and the values she instilled in her children. Back when they were together, Ivana Trump and Donald Trump made numerous public appearances together. One of their most notable joint television appearances was on the Oprah Winfrey Show in April 1988, where they discussed their lavish lifestyle, business ventures, and relationship dynamics. The following month, they appeared on the BBC's Wogan. After their divorce, Ivana made several independent media appearances that reflected her transition from being Donald's wife to establishing her own voice. In a highly publicized 1991 interview with Barbara Walters on 20 by 20, she openly discussed her marriage and divorce, a move that angered Donald Trump to the extent that he cut off her alimony payments and threatened legal action against her for monetary damages. Unfazed, she continued to assert her independence and returned to the Oprah Winfrey Show in 1992, delivering a bold statement that resonated with many women. In front of the entire nation, she declared, "I will not let men dominate me anymore." Ivana's presence in popular culture extended beyond talk shows. In 1996, she made a memorable cameo appearance in the Hollywood film The First Wives Club, playing herself in a scene that became iconic for an empowering message to women, delivering the now famous line, "Ladies, you have to be strong and independent. And remember, don't get mad, get everything." She playfully referenced her own high-profile divorce and reinforced the idea of female empowerment. In 2006, Ivana took on the role of a television host with the reality TV special Ivana Young Man, which aired on the Oxygen Network. The show centered around her matchmaking efforts, helping a wealthy, middle-aged woman find a younger romantic partner. The light-hearted reality dating format was a departure from her previous television appearances and showcased her sense of humor and charm. Ivana continued her foray into reality television in 2010 when she joined the UK series Celebrity Big Brother 7. Competing against a diverse group of contestants, she made it to 7th place. Moving on with life after Trump, never one to retreat from the limelight, she continued to embrace love and companionship with the same fearless determination that had defined her business and social endeavors. In November 1995, she entered into matrimony once again, this time with Riccardo Mazzucchelli, a wealthy Italian entrepreneur and international businessman who, much like her, was well-versed in navigating the world of luxury, business, and high society. Their union seemed to be a match of equals, both successful, ambitious, and accustomed to a life of extravagance. However, their marriage was short-lived, dissolving in divorce in 1997 after less than 2 years. What followed was a bitter legal battle that captured widespread media attention. Ivana sued Mazzucchelli for $15 million, alleging that he had violated the confidentiality clause of their prenuptial agreement. Mazzucchelli, in turn, responded with his own lawsuit, filing a libel case in a British court against both Ivana and her ex-husband, Donald Trump. While the intricate details of their legal disputes were never fully disclosed, the matter was eventually settled under undisclosed terms. However, Ivana was never one to dwell on heartbreak for long. That same year, she found solace and affection in the arms of another distinguished partner, Count Raffredo Gaetani dell'Aquila d'Aragona-Lavatelli, an Italian aristocrat with lineage dating back centuries. Their romance blossomed over nearly a decade, with the two frequently seen together at glamorous social gatherings, European resorts, and charity events. Gaetani, known for his aristocratic charm and deep appreciation for luxury automobiles, seemed to complement Ivana's own penchant for refinement and elegance. More than just a romantic companion, he offered her a connection to European nobility, something she had cherished since her youth in Czechoslovakia. Their love endured for years, surviving the ebb and flow of their jet-set lifestyles, until tragedy struck in 2005 when Gaetani passed away unexpectedly. Though heartbroken, Ivana remained resilient, and in the years that followed, she found companionship once more, this time with Italian actor and model Rossano Rubicandi. Their whirlwind romance lasted 6 years before they decided to make it official, tying the knot on April 12, 2008. At 59, Ivana was 23 years older than Rubicandi, who was 36 at the time, but their significant age difference did little to deter them from celebrating their love in grand fashion. Their wedding was nothing short of a spectacle. It was a lavish $3 million affair hosted at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. With 400 guests in attendance, including celebrities and high-profile figures, it was a glamorous event befitting Ivana's stature. Ivanka Trump, her daughter, played a special role as the maid of honor, while Donald Trump's sister, Judge Marianne Trump Berry, officiated the ceremony, making it a unique and somewhat surreal family affair. However, despite the grandeur of their nuptials, their marriage was short-lived. Within a year, they divorced, though their connection remained strong in the years that followed. Their on-again, off-again relationship continued for over a decade, with the pair frequently seen together at social events and on vacations. It wasn't until 2019 that Ivana officially declared their romance to be over for good. Yet, even in separation, there remained an undeniable bond between them. Tragically, in October 2021, Rubicandi passed away at the age of 49. Beyond her romantic relationships, Ivana's later years were filled with family, travel, and the refined pleasures she had worked so hard to afford. She took immense pride in her 3 children and their growing families, doting on her 10 grandchildren with the same energy and determination she had once poured into her career. Splitting her time between her various luxurious residences, she divided her days between the vibrant streets of New York City, the sun-kissed beaches of Miami, and the glamorous shores of St. Tropez. Always embodying European sophistication, Ivana remained a polyglot, fluent in Czech, English, German, French, and Russian. Even in her later years, she was never far from the spotlight, continuing to live life on her own terms, always glamorous, always resilient, and forever unforgettable. She remained the perfect European lady until the end of her days. Death and legacy. On July 14, 2022, Ivana Trump passed away at the age of 73, a tragic end to a life marked by resilience, reinvention, and opulence. Her death was ruled as having been caused by blunt impact injuries to the torso. She fell down the stairs at her home on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. The incident shocked those who knew her, as Ivana had long been known for her strength and vitality. While she had largely stepped away from the public eye in her later years, her passing prompted an outpouring of tributes from family, friends, and admirers. Her ex-husband, Donald Trump, who had by then served as the 45th President of the United States, took to social media to express his sorrow, calling her a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing woman who led a great and inspirational life. Their 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, also paid tribute to their mother, honoring her legacy as a formidable businesswoman, a loving mother, and a trailblazer who had made an indelible mark on their lives. Beyond her immediate family, numerous politicians, celebrities, and figures from the worlds of business and fashion shared their condolences. 6 days after her passing, on July 20th, 2022, a funeral service was held in her honor at the Church of St. Vincent Ferrer, a Catholic church located near her Manhattan residence. The event was attended by family, friends, and well-known figures, with an air of solemnity and remembrance as those who had been closest to her gathered to bid her farewell. Following the service, Ivana was laid to rest at the Trump National Golf Club Bedminster in Bedminster, New Jersey, a location that held significance for the Trump family. For the family, it was a final resting place that ensured Ivana remained connected to their shared history. Ivana left behind an estate valued at approximately $34 million. In her will, the bulk of her fortune was divided among her 3 children, ensuring that her legacy would directly benefit those she had always prioritized. However, she also made provision for 2 individuals outside the immediate Trump family: Evelyn Gaylord, a close personal friend, and Dorothy Curry, the longtime nanny who played a significant role in raising her children. Ivana's passing marked the end of an era for a woman who had played a significant role in shaping not only the Trump brand, but also the perception of glamorous, self-made women in the public eye. Her life had been defined by ambition, reinvention, and an unrelenting drive for success, and even in death, her influence remained evident in her legacy. But what went wrong? Why did the Trump power couple split? Was it the cheating, or was it more? Why did she part ways with Trump? Reason revealed. While there were multiple factors that led to their split, the most significant and ultimately irreparable issue was Donald's highly publicized affair with actress and model Marla Maples. Ivana, who had taken on major roles in the Trump organization and was instrumental in the success of Trump Tower, gradually began to sense that something was amiss. By the late 1980s, rumors about Donald's infidelity started surfacing, and whispers of his relationship with Maples became increasingly difficult to ignore. Matters came to a head in December 1989, during a now infamous confrontation at Aspen, Colorado. As noted earlier, Ivana and Donald were on vacation with their children when she came face-to-face with Maples, who allegedly told Ivana, "I love him and he loves me." The encounter was humiliating, and the marriage never recovered. In subsequent interviews, Ivana reflected on the pain of betrayal and the public nature of her split. While she maintained a dignified approach, she made it clear that Donald's infidelity was a final straw. She addressed her divorce in her 2017 memoir, Raising Trump, revealing that she had forgiven Donald over the years, but that the collapse of their marriage had been deeply painful. Adding another layer of complexity to their divorce was Ivana's brief entanglement in an FBI investigation. In the early 1990s, she was under scrutiny for allegedly having ties to Czechoslovak intelligence services. Born in what was then Czechoslovakia, Ivana had maintained some connections to her home country, which led to speculation and a subsequent FBI probe, though nothing substantial ever came of the investigation. It was another strain on an already deteriorating relationship. Despite their crumbling marriage, Donald defended her, dismissing the allegations as baseless and politically motivated. But even his support in this matter was not enough to salvage their fractured relationship. The marriage had become unsalvageable, and their divorce was finalized in 1992. Following his split from Ivana, Donald wasted no time in pursuing a more public relationship with Marla Maples. Their affair, once the subject of tabloid speculation, became official, and in 1993, they married in a lavish ceremony at the Plaza Hotel. However, their relationship was fraught with issues from the start. While Donald had been enamored with Maples in the heat of their affair, the marriage proved to be an entirely different challenge. The couple's incompatibility became apparent, and their union was plagued by rumors of infidelity and tension. In a particularly scandalous twist, it was alleged that Maples had an affair with one of Trump's bodyguards, which further strained their relationship. By 1999, their marriage had dissolved, with Maples walking away with modest settlement compared to Ivana's, largely due to a strict prenuptial agreement. Not long after his divorce from Maples, Trump became involved with Slovenian model Melania Naus, whom he met in 1998. Their relationship, while seemingly more stable than his previous ones, was not without its challenges. Melania was initially hesitant about Donald's advances, but eventually entered into a long-term relationship with him. They married in 2005 in another extravagant ceremony, with Melania donning a Dior gown rumored to cost over $100,000. However, even during their marriage, Trump's name remained linked to various women, most notably adult film actress Stormy Daniels. The Daniels controversy erupted in 2018 when it was revealed that Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, had facilitated a $130,000 payment to Daniels in exchange for her silence about an alleged affair with Trump in 2006, just a year after he married Melania. The revelation ignited a political and legal firestorm. Melania, while largely silent on the matter, was visibly distant from Trump in the weeks following the scandal's emergence, fueling speculation about the state of their marriage. Ivana, for her part, had long moved on by the time these later scandals unfolded. In her final years, she often spoke fondly of her time with Donald, even jokingly referred to herself as a real Mrs. Trump. While their marriage had ended in betrayal and acrimony, they had ultimately found a way to coexist, largely for the sake of their children. However, the turbulence that had defined Donald Trump's romantic life continued well beyond their divorce, proving that, for better or worse, his relationships would always be a subject of public fascination. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.